Just give me a minute, guys. Just give me a minute because of the fact that we are experiencing some technical glitch. Because you understand that right now the during the lockdown and everything, it's essentially a difficult thing for us to have a pretty streamlined connection. But then now I think the connection is secure, perfect. You guys are able to see me. The presentation is live, and I've been today morning. I woke up and obviously it was a holiday, so I woke up a bit late, and I've realized that a lot of people were anxious about SGX Nifty and everything. Uh, a lot of people were anxious about the SGX Nifty and why the SGX Nifty was down 3,500 points and why there was so much of the panic which was happening. A lot of people were contemplating that what would happen, and I was not able to understand because trust me, I mean yesterday when I was sleeping, the market was not that bad, and the US was obviously not bad. But when I started analyzing, I figured out there were very much reasons. There were a lot of reasons. I asked a lot of Twitter, and some of you fantastic people replied to me that. There is going to be a lot of downturn. A lot of people replied with the reason and everything, and they say that it is not that good. So I realized that why not to do a exclusive session for all of you guys in order for us to understand that what is the news flow, what to expect, and what are we really talking in terms of the coming days. So guys, I'm not having a webcam because of the fact that I'm operating from my home and it's a bit messy, and the webcam that I have is does not have a good quality, sir. Yeah, so we have started now, and we're going to be having a session of about a half an hour, 40 minutes. I will be taking some questions also for you, but at the same time, the whole point is to get a feeling whether to understand how the markets are going and everything. So yeah, I'll just begin. This is the news flow which I've been hearing, and this is the pretty much the news flow which I was able to make out when I was trying to articulate this thing. And what I have realized that when a lot of people were having a confusion, they could not understand in terms of the what could I expect. I realized that let's have a some sort of a you know you know. Let's have some sort of a, understanding of what we can expect in the coming days to week. So first thing, after probably market, the news has came that Reliance is issuing rights at 1257. Now that is a pretty interesting thing because Reliance issuing that is not a good sign. And if you see from the previous close, which is about 1466, that is almost a 200 rupees down. 200 rupees is about a 15 odd percent, 14 odd percent. So if the 14% Reliance issuing a right, probably that is a sign of a worry in my opinion, and that is what is clearly looking like. Because if Reliance starts going down, then that is, in my opinion, something which we have to start contemplating in terms of the what happens in the coming days. There was another news flow that Reliance and HUL results were pretty weak, and to be very particularly Hindustan Unilever, the way it has risen in recent past, I think what can you expect, guys? It was a sort of a flight to safety, and the way I have analyzed in the past, HUL rising is not a good thing about uncertainty in the market. But in yesterday's session, Hindustan deliver around a 2200 odd level. In my opinion, it is not that bad when it comes to the overall market. Third reason which a lot of people have told me was that GST collection for the month of March stands at about 32,170 odd crore. What it means that compared to last year, the GST collection is miserably down. In the last year, when you're talking about the GST collection, it was roughly about 1.13 lakh crore, and right now you're talking about a 32,174 crore. But you have to understand that entire month the sales should have not happened for the simple reason because of the it was lockdown. At the same time, you should also expect that a lot of people could not file a sales even if there would have been a sales, right? So you should not be. This was expected. I think this was something which was not expected. I think like that. But you are anyway going up. You're going up with the fact that there was some sort of a negative news flow. You're going up with the fact that there was a news flow wherein we expected at some point it has to stop. And last time when I was in a Z business at around 87 at 100 odd, I've said that we are going to 10,000. We went to 10,000. We went to 10,000, and around 10,000 odd, 9,900 odd level, we faced a resistance. So we will go in a data, we will go in a chart, but I'm just trying to understand that what are the news flow we are talking about. The fourth news flow is that lockdown extended. I think 2 week lockdown extended, and that is something which was anyway expected. To be very honest, I'm from Mumbai, and we are having no chance of opening a lockdown in the month of June also. That is my feeling, I'll tell you. So I would not be surprised if entire June month extend also. And even after that, even after that, I'm not seeing that the situation is going to change miserably, because of the fact that overall situation in cities like Mumbai is definitely very, very dismissal. The fifth case, which a lot of people are contemplating, there's a very high rise in the Rajasthan and Mumbai, the corona cases. So in Mumbai, I think the 10,000 mark has been uh, in the I guess in a Mumbai 10,000 cases has been reported now for the corona. That is the one thing. Second thing is that in Rajasthan, uh, also the almost 100 cases, fresh new cases of the coronavirus has been detected. So that is a two thing which is negative for the our market. Seventh is US threat to China. US has threatened China that there is going to be a trade war, and now there is one more thing which has come out now that you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, just give me a minute. Let me just schedule a bit. Yeah, so the stream is pretty weak, I guess. A lot of people who are complaining that a lot of people are saying that the volume is not clear, the voice is good. A lot of people are saying that there are some issues with the, uh, issues with the, some sort of connection and all. Let me just verify that. Just give me a minute. I'll just verify that and I'll get back to you. Yeah, voice is not okay. It seems because the connection stream is not that great, and just give me a minute. Let me just change few settings for my. I guess I'm back. I have just restarted the stream in order for me to verify whether the now connection stream is it better my voice, guys? Okay, great. Guys, so we are back. I'm really very sorry for the inconvenience because I'm operating from a news flow. I'm operating from the home, and I'm not with my mic, and I'm operating from my laptop, which is not that even though the configuration is good, but I'm not very comfortable speaking from the Bluetooth mic. What I'm speaking right now is from my Bluetooth mic on a laptop, and that is the reason why we are seeing sort of a connection issues. But the one thing which you should understand is that let us focus now on the news flow, and we've got a lot of things to talk about in the coming hour, and probably that is the reason I'm taking a bit time. So there was a two bad things which has been which came during this last 2 days. One is the US. Trump has warned China about the trade war. Along with that, the one thing which also I'm able to read is that China is thinking to reprint print his e-currency. That is something, in my opinion, a much bigger news than the trade war or a coronavirus or anything else, because the if China starts printing its currency in form of a digital mode, then you're talking about it is not pegging its currency against the dollar. And if China doesn't peg its currency against the dollar, that means the world entire this currency digitalization is going to take place, and that's where it is going to get really messy, because what will happen is that uh, everything is around the dollar right now, and if dollar starts coming under the threat, that means what will happen is that from a larger perspective, China is giving directly indication that we are not interested in trade talks with the US. We are on our own good, and probably it will happen China versus the entire world. And what happens in that situation, God knows. And it is much bad news, in my opinion, from a larger perspective. This is all macros right now. Reliance issues, HUL weak results, GST numbers are dismissal. But I have my own doubt that market was anyway expecting that number. Lockdown is expected, extended, but it was expected, in my opinion. Everybody was expecting that. Rising case in Corona, nobody was expecting it to go away. One thing you should understand that. But the thing which is making me more uncomfortable is the trade war talks. And if China starts pegging its currency against the US, against China starts moving its currency from pegging dollar to a e form, that is the situation which is giving me situation which is like riskier. Dollar will get weaker. If the dollar start getting weaker, then turbulence will start coming, and what will happen is that that is going to be a very difficult situation. So One thing is for sure. So why are we analyzing the macro live webinar wherein we wanted to talk about data and charts? Is that what are you really talking about? You are talking about a situation which is uncertain. You don't know what is going to happen with the corona. You don't know what is going to happen with the overall situation in the market. At the same time, talks of trade war comes up. At the same time, China is thinking about printing a digital currency. What it means that you are in a situation which is definitely messed up from a larger perspective, and this is definitely a situation which needs some sort of a larger perspective, and I think it is not going to get settled down in a very near term. What we have in our hand, is analyzing our data, understanding that how our data is going to give us a clarity what we can expect. There was a long weekend, a lot of people have sold options, calls, put. There was a lot of people who were expecting a volatility to go down. So let us understand what data is suggesting, which we have in hand. So right now, if you look at this situation, this is a Nifty 7th May option chain, right? This is Nifty 7th May option chain. And when I try to analyze, the one thing which I'm able to understand from a previous day's close on the Nifty is that Nifty closed at about a 98.40. And if you see that put call ratio on the last day spiked up, the implied volatility after a long time has risen. So yesterday's Nifty IV on the put side has risen. Look at this, IVs have gone up. So Nifty IVs has gone up. One thing. Second thing is what is happening is that Nifty came into the discount. So towards session, the sell off that we saw, in that Nifty came in the discount. So Nifty came in the discount. That is the one thing which is happening. Nifty implied volatility has increased, and huge number of the put has been written, though it was an expiry and the data that we have. So now let us look at 7th May session. What has actually happened? So now, if you look at this particular session, then probably the first thing which I would like to show it to you is that, let me just make it a, yeah. So what I have in front of me is the 7th May option chain. In the 7th May option chain, the first thing you should notice is how the 10,000 option is standing. So 10,000 option over here is standing at about 10,86,000 shares. 10,86,000 shares in the 10,000 option tells me that in next week we are not talking about any more about 10,000 no matter what happens. The way we are likely to go down, and the way the stimulus package probably market was expecting, that's why we went up. I think that is not happening, and these guys are pretty much sure about that. On the put side, 9,500 put. Look at the 9,500 put OI. It's almost a 10 lakh. So your 9,500 put was about a 50 rupees, right? 9,500 put was about a yeah, 95 put was about 150 odd rupees something. Yeah, and yeah, and at the same time, 10,000 call over here. So this triangle is being written, and let me just highlight a bit. So people have written this triangle. This is 9,500 and this is 10,000. So you're talking about a large range in the market, which is 9,500 and 10,000. And the way I was looking at the data and everything, the feeling that I am getting, the feeling that I am getting in the market right now is that if we go down, and if we go down to a 9,400, we'll have to start worrying, because what will happen then, this people 9,500, all the people who have sold this option and collected some premium, they will start worrying, worrying. So that is the one thing which is coming into the market, which is that on an option chain the IV is increased. The huge OI which was happening in the 9,500 put option and 10,000 option is telling me that 95 was the support which market was expecting. Now another thing which is giving me a bit of a uncomfortable feeling is the Nifty's 28th May. This is Nifty a 28 May option chain, and if you look at the Nifty 28 May option chain, then probably what you realize over here is the same thing. How 9,900 call option, look at this, 9,800 11 lakh and 10,000 is 30 lakh. So even the monthly option 10,000 strike was having a highest to high, and it is expected not to move out of here. And what it means, 224 rupees on the 10,000. And on the put side, even if you go to a little bit down, then probably you realize that 9,000 put is about a 25 lakh, and 9,500 is 14 lakh. So if tomorrow we open down, the one thing which I'm able to understand is that this 9,500 guys, they're gonna get in problem. So 9,500 put is the trouble from a tomorrow's perspective, and that is what is telling me that 9,500 is going to be the situation where we would see some sort of a unwinding which was happening, and that would put a pressure on the Nifty. So Nifty data tells me that 9,500 should be the immediate support from the previous close. Onto a chart, we will go to a chart in a while and we'll analyze. Before that, let us look at what is happening to Bank Nifty. This is a Bank Nifty data. And if you look at the Bank Nifty data in a yesterday session, the one thing is for very sure that Bank Nifty has came to discount. So Bank Nifty came to discount. Okay. So that is the one thing which is happening with that Bank Nifty has came into discount. Put call ratio has gone down. So there was a huge in the Bank Nifty. There was a huge call writing here. Look at this. The call writing was happening, whereas the put writing relatively was lesser. Put was written lesser, and the call OI has gone up. That's compared to the call. So that means what is happening is that bullish data than the bullish data in a Nifty. Okay. So this is Nifty and Bank Nifty data, which tells me the feeling that, okay, now let us look at the Bank Nifty overall option chain for us to understand that where are we standing. So in a Bank Nifty, the option chain tells me that 21,500 put is the highest to high. So 21,500 put is about a 1 lakh shares, and then 21,000, which is 1,50,000 share. So one thing is we're very sure that from a previous close of a Bank Nifty about a 21,527, we are likely to open gap down, and these people are going to get in trouble. 21,500, and if the 21,500 starts troubling, then you're talking about a lower level, and I'm afraid that it is going to put up a lot of pressure into the Bank Nifty. Now, the one silver lining which I would like to tell you is that compared to Nifty, the Bank Nifty is not going to experience much because Nifty will have a Reliance as a component, HUL as a component, whereas the Bank Nifty is only about ICICI Bank, Kotak, Axis, right? So in a Bank Nifty, effect of a Nifty would not be there. Nifty should down more. That is my personal opinion compared to the Bank Nifty, even though Bank Nifty is a more volatile index. Yeah, that is the one thing which I would like to tell you. After that, the another thing which you should understand is that in a Bank Nifty, the 21,500 is going to put a lot of pressure. So now if you go to a monthly option chain on the Bank Nifty, you realize that Nifty monthly option chain is telling me the feeling that the highest to high is around a 20,000 odd, and that is where the writing is also happening, and below that you're talking about this level, 18,000 odd level also. But I think that 20,000 writer are going to defend the position in any case. So we'll see the chart before we arrive at the conclusion, and we will arrive uh, when when they. So we are not trying to draw the conclusion, we are trying to assess the data. We are not bearish or bullish, we are just seeing that what has happened, what is in our hand, and looking at everything, data and everything. What I can simply tell you is that if pressure starts coming, then probably the markets are going to go down. Now, before we go any further, let us analyze the implied volatility. So this is Nifty's implied volatility, and the one thing which is making me very very scared is this green line. This green line is an implied volatility. Look at this green line. This green line had consistently came down, right? This green line has consistently came down. What it means? It means that implied volatility is definitely down. And look at this. In the same period, prices. So there is a very, very superb correlation from at least, a start of Jan to end of April, is that prices were falling, IV were rising, IV were falling, prices were rising. And now if the IV starts going up, that means prices should start going down. So all said and done, IVs are compared to a recent past, IVs have come down, and from the current level, we can expect the market to definitely go down from the current level. If you look at the implied volatility, that means the one thing is for very sure that you should have a positive Vega stance, positive Vega in your portfolio, because in coming days the IV may rise. Looking at the uncertain, at least IV may not decline. In my opinion, the volatility in the current situation. So you are looking at a options. You are looking at an option buying situation in a coming days. That is one thing which I am understanding from a data analysis and everything. Now, before we go any further, let us look at the US session. So this is right now a chart of a Dow Jones. Okay, and this is the chart of a Dow Jones, and I'm just gonna clear it for you so that you can understand. Look at the Dow Jones right now. So Dow Jones, this is US 30, and in last 2 days, one, two, you're looking at a consecutively negative side, and today Dow is about Dow future is about 500 point down, 2% down. So that is a follow-up selling which you're seeing. So, and now if we analyze the chart, I'm not seeing that why it would turn. So let me just. So one thing is for very sure that you are forming some sort of a you are and you are breaking it. So this is a cause of concern, right? One more thing. Now, second thing what you should look at is that right now this particular pullback of a last resort, if you see, that is exactly 78.6, and from this point, if you see, you're failing at a 61 point mark. So this falls is retraced exactly 61.8. So my sense is that, and that is exactly what I had communicated to all our participants in a live trading session on a Friday, is that I think as long as we don't go above yesterday's high, we are talking about a top in the market. That was the one thing which I looked at the uh, previous data. Obviously, there can be some situation. Now let us look at the uh, R Nifty. So this is the SGX Nifty right now, and look at the SGX Nifty is giving a sign of a breaking it down. You're just there. If you break this trend down, then God helps. I'm not very optimistic about here. If this breaks, then the one thing is for very sure that don't remain long. Right now, let me just open a Nifty quickly for all of us to understand. That was a SGX Nifty, and this is a our spot Nifty chart. And now you look at the spot Nifty chart, you realize that on a Friday or sorry, on a Thursday, market has actually closed above this pattern. And a lot of people who may call it a wedge, the reason why I was reluctant is that there was a gap here, right? And this zone, this particular zone, this particular zone should act as a support. So if we gap down, this pattern will become a evening star or abandoned baby star. So all the people who doesn't know candlestick, just Google abandoned baby. Abandoned baby is a bearish candlestick pattern that can happen. One thing. Second thing which is going to happen is that in this gap area we may probably take a support, and this will form some sort of a wedge, right? So I think that is giving me a feeling which is a negative thing, that if there is a gap down in a Nifty, we'll form a abandoned baby candlestick pattern. We might be coming to a resist support. So 9380, in my opinion, 9380 on the Nifty, 9380. This is the medium term reversal. If we start going below 9380, you're talking about a market to go further down. Now the whole thing is that if we start moving higher from here, then probably you can rule the wedge out. But the one thing is, I'm telling you that prices is telling me that there is going to be some sort of a negative reaction in the coming days. So if on a Monday you open down, don't hurry to buy a put. One thing, you wait for a 9380 to break. If the 9380 starts breaking, then probably there is an issue. This is the one thing which I can tell you from looking at the Nifty chart. Now let us look at the Bank Nifty chart. So if you look at the Bank Nifty chart, the Bank Nifty, this formation is definitely not a good thing. you moved out of this range, right? So let me just highlight a bit. So you moved out of this range, right, which was a large range. This was a very large range. You moved out of this range. If you pull back to this range, if you pull back to this range, the first thing you should consider is that it should hold. If it does not hold, then God forbid, then you're talking about a much lower level. So 9380 on the Nifty, 20 odd thousand level around here. 19. This is like a 21 thousand to 20,800. This is the band on the bank Nifty, which is going to act as a immediate support. And if it starts breaking, then you're talking about this entire consolidation breaking down on the downside. And in that case, in that case, you will not be able to. Then this formation will become a triangle pattern, and you will not be able to, live the market. In that case, the market is going much lower. And what it means that probably you may make a lose also. So one thing you should also remember that situation from a pricing point of view and from a chart point of view is not looking good. I am not inclined to go long. I would look to close my some of the long position. I would think to buy a Vega structure positive, because I think the volatility will start going higher from the current level. Now, as far as the larger market concerns, stocks and everything concerned, I am going to refrain from answering that right now, and for a simple reason, because we don't know what will happen on the Monday. Right now, what I'm telling you is based on the today's and yesterday's price close. I'm gonna wait. So this is the part one of our analysis, and I'm gonna wait what happens to Dow. If the US markets, in today's session starts crashing further, then we will have a one more live trading session tomorrow, where we would analyze stocks, where we would analyze US again, where we would analyze the all the global market. We would see what stocks we should short on Monday, and we would try to form some ideas around that. But the whole point of me saying this is to ensure that you don't jump the guns about tomorrow. And this is the first time after a rise from the bottom that probably there are some issues, and you should have a very lighter position in your portfolio. So this is what you should keep it in mind. Now, as far as the stock is concerned, we are not going to talk about the stocks, and we're going to talk about the something which is we can do. We trade live, and if you want to trade live with me, you can look at our Marvelous May, a live trading offer, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our Twitter. And our whole idea of this thing is that in the coming days to weeks to month, we will try to have a market which is going to be a sideways to negative, unless government announce some sort of a packages, and unless we start going higher from the current level. I'm not very positive right now looking at the data and everything. I think the market may remain curtailed. So refrain from creating longs, one thing. Don't hurry from creating leverage position. Look to create spreads on option strategy and all. We have indicated a strategy on we have indicated a strategy on a IndusInd Bank and those kind of a thing. So now probably from that perspective also, the lot of people are going to make money. Have a positive Vega in your portfolio. Have a structure which tells you that in the coming days to weeks you should probably have some sort of a negative position. Let's lastly look at the Reliance, probably because Reliance is definitely the one stock where a lot of interest is going to be there. So Reliance is the only stock which in a recent time I have noticed has turned a weekly MACD into buy. So Reliance weekly MACD has turned into the buy. That is the first thing. Second thing is that Reliance from a 850 odd low has came down to about 1460 low. So it means that if there is any pullback, guys, if there is any pullback, it's going to be sharper in the Reliance. So you're talking about right issues around this level. So I think what Reliance has done is this pump on a Reliance, right? This pump on a Reliance may be used to dump, and in that case, I would not be surprised if the entire retracement happens on a Reliance also. So just keep it in mind that whatever happening in the market right now is not a good thing. A lot of people who are asking me about the pattern on the Nifty and all, I'm not going to jump, guys. This was a session for you to me to give you a clarity that what we can expect. But I think you can say that this can be flag, this can be, this is my chart which I have drawn, and if you start breaking, this is the high. This is the level I was telling you. If we start breaking 9380, this is exactly the level which I was telling you. this highs. If we start breaking this range around 9380, we are talking about a larger move decline in the Nifty, and that is the reason I'm awareing you. That was the reason I thought to do a live session with all of you. You can call it a flag, you can call it a wedge. On Bank Nifty there is a triangle. You can call it whatever you want, but just keep it in mind. The macros are weak, the news flow is not good, the markets are not looking good. So that was it. That's it from my side, guys. If you like the session, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and if you want to, probably you can go to our website and you can look at our marvelous May session probably, and that will help you to trade live with me. If you're looking to trade live with me, we have option buy, and we have a option strategy session. So there's going to be 11 trading sessions where we will be trading live with you. If you are looking to learn a momentum trading, then probably you can subscribe to a momentum series. This is the schedule for our March, where we would be trading live with the you guys, and we will be teaching you how to protect your money. So thank you so much, guys. This was from my side. Shabba Khair. Have a great weekend. We'll try to connect today or tomorrow, or probably on Sunday, to have a part two of what to expect on a Monday. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.